What are these fancy metagame reports you guys are talking about? I bet you guys the Dark Magician will be tier 1 with this new spicy prize card. I feel like when we were in the office designing this, we had Dark Magician in mind for this to be tier 1. Now, with the release of Diabolus, you too can play Dark Magician, and for those Minerva Turbo players out there, you can now play Blood Mephist in your deck. Don't worry about if it's the only monster that you can have in the extra deck monster zone or on your field. It's okay, because with the power of prize cards, tier 1 metagames will be a thing of the past. It's almost like Yugioh almost had a former pay-to-win mentality with Crush Card, but now my Dark Magician deck can do it. Because the Princess Illusion Magician Girl wasn't enough. Let's dig into our metagame discussion, shall we, boys and girls? I know you watch this video. Enjoy. Alright, so I'm ready for the 300 comments that are about to just say, did you just copy Zemo's video? Nope, but the metagame is so stagnantly boring at the moment that tier 2 is looking a lot more interesting to discuss things. Yeah, we have a Diabolus to play Dark Magician at locals. What terrible ideas have you guys come up with this week? So, we're going to talk about the metagame, and yeah, cue spiral image here. Alright, so show the green man some love, by the way, in the comment section. And don't think I'm getting too arrogantly lazy in this video, but understand that Spyrals are the best deck. And we've started, I was doing some discussing with Ethan a little bit ago. He was telling me a Tri-Gate's kind of phased out. I haven't been to locals in like a week because, you know, Thanksgiving was last week. But Tri-Gate started to fade out. Spiral Tough is an amazing card. Spirals, they've kind of turned away from being that deck that you build your board turn 1, more to a deck that it grinds. And the only reason why the deck has to so much rely on grind is because of the other matchups in the current metagame. Tier 2 is a very fucking real threat right now. And the last time I did a discussion with this, I was talking about if you're going to a tier 2 event, or you're going to a regional, tier 2 can beat you a lot easier, because it's really weird, because right now with YCSs, with more determined rounds up through top cut and things like that, more people are choosing to play the better decks. And when you're attending a regional, there are going to be a lot more players in your region that are dedicating to Rogue because they don't want to spend as much money. And if they're spending money, it's towards evenly matched, and it's towards things like Ash Blossom, so they've got their necessary hand traps out of the way. Spirals indefinitely lose to multiple hand traps. It's been a proven fact. But on the same equation of those hand traps, the deck that's playing those hand traps has to be able to function. And it's one of the more interesting things, because Spirals are so goddamn consistent 2-card combo with the deck, that what other deck outside of Spirals can support infinite trap cards and still have a recovery play on the next turn? Because if you hand trap, you force me to stop, I set a stop for you, you take your turn, you set up your combo, I break you, and then you don't have another hand trap to follow up through the next turn. You know, same thing in the same scenario of if your deck can't generate a lot of combo potential, then you lose. There are a lot of good tier 2 decks right now that can generate combo, but we're going to talk about tier 1 for the most part, and then we'll talk about the tier 2. I mean, nothing's really changed. It's kind of just the way it's been. So Spirals are still, took 16 out of the top cut, top 32. The deck's not unbeatable. I know a lot of people say that this format is absolute fucking dog shit garbage and they don't want to play it. That's fine, you're missing out on a very good opportunity. This is one of the rare formats in time where tier 2 can cognitively compete with tier 1. What is it? Fuck. We've got 9-10 decks right now that can get it through regional level competition, so keep that in mind. But your deck to definitely beat right now, it's Spirals, without any absolute doubt in my mind, that if you're going to an event, Spirals are going to be the problem. Now, the second best deck out there, look at me. Trickster Reincarnation is a fucking asshole card, and I'm fucking hate Trickstars. I wish that deck would die in a fucking fire. My friend took my Trickster core, and he's been that Trickster player at locals since that deck came out. Now, Trickster Reincarnation is the real pain in the ass. It's not even Licorice or Kadena. Those cards are fine, you know? It's the fact that if my opponent has Rowan Lockbird Reincarnation, I'm just straight fucked in the ass 7 ways from Sunday. And I read a petition on Facebook the other day. It's like, sign this to get Rowan Lockbird banned. It's the real fucking problem. Put Reincarnation on. That's all you gotta do. And if you wanna put the nail in the coffin for Spyrals too, Spiral resort to one. Just call it a day. But the only reason why Tricksters are being so good is because they're a massive control deck, and that weenie burn really, it stacks up over time. And if you saw in Top Cut, triple Omega after burning your hand trap just kind of tears your asshole apart. It's really ridiculous just what that deck can even do. Like, actually just, when it goes, it goes. And Trickstars, they're the deck that gets so much momentum because Reincarnation is just such an insanely broken card in and of itself. So if you're playing metagame, I love reading comments like, oh, we should play Hanawada or, you know, the DDD guy. And no, you just got to outpace your opponent. Things like Twin Twisters to bait, waiting for your opponent to be bad to not appropriately activate Reincarnation. Definitely things to consider. But there is that. And last but not least, in the end of the tier 1 bracket, as I'm going to say here, is going to be Pendulum Magician. Now, Pendulum Magician has been losing a lot of favor, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that this deck's been falling out of favor, to be honest with you. The combos that the deck can do, they're not that strong. I mean, the Spiral grind game consistently outdoes it. Tough is a hell of a card. It's what makes Spyrals so tough. Get it? Time Pendulum Graph. I think the format started to go into a little bit more spell trap destruction. Time Pendulum Graph it gets infinitely weaker when your opponents, they know what your deck does. Your surprise element is kind of gone. And Time Pendulum Graph is literally the only trap card that deck was even doing. I mean, Solemns, I guess, but I mean, and the problem with Pendulum Magician is how many hand traps can you put in your deck until you take away from your initial consistency? Where does it stop going downhill? Is the real question you need to ask yourself. And trust me, the deck is very, very fragile. It's the most fragile out of the possible tier 1s. I would definitely, if I had the option between playing Spiral, Trickster, and Pendulum Magician, I would stick to Spiral, like almost 100%. The good thing is Pendulum Magician's that budget alternative to the better of the tier 1s. So, leave it at that. Now, we're going to cross over into tier... Probably put Pendulum Magician like tier 1.5, honestly. I always love how people are like, well, tiers don't exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, if tiers don't exist, then why are there just decks that are better performing than others? I don't get it. This is what I deal with on a daily basis sometimes. Not trying to be a condescending dick or anything like that, but people have to understand that consistency and tops, it's like my friend Kevin I was talking to this morning. Kevin was like, well, I was telling him, like, yo, heroes aren't a good deck, but he's like, I beat Spyrals once. That's fucking cool, bro. Can you do it consistently? If you're going into a 7-round tournament, is your deck, can you say you're beating 5 of those 7 Spirals you might be playing? Or even if 5 rounds of Spiral, are you consistently beating 4 of those? You know, I don't care if you did it once. It's cool. It's what Asian Eyes videos are for. You get to watch the 1 out of 30 games where you won. Happens. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! So, tier 2. This is exactly in the order that fucking Simo did it too, and I can't fucking wait for this. But I'm putting Minerva Storm, aka any Light Swarm variant, aka Zombie Swarm, at like the beginning of the tier 2 block. And the reason for this is because ABC and Minerva Storm, it just depends on the next day. And the ABC player that was in San Diego, somebody said that he was somewhere on Facebook. They're talking about how he was an OCG player and how he used the mentalities that he had learned from the OCG to adapt them to the TCG. And he was the only ABC player that got in top cut. So I almost want to say that it's got a little bit to do with the players piloting the rogue decks right now. I can't wait to see the pitchforks. Like, did you just say that player skill has something to do with them piloting a deck? That's impossible! There are no decision making in Yu-Gi-Oh! You go up skill tree and you go down an end turn. To some degree there is. And I think the ABC and the Minerva Storm, well, evidently Minerva's ability to have grass and every scenario that they need it definitely helps, but the fact that Minerva Storm can literally build boards and get really nutty, that's the true strength of the deck. It's literally just diarrhea everywhere, and the diarrhea comes together at the end to get thrown away. And it's when everything that's scattered all across the board comes together is when the deck really starts to shine. And it depends on the player, depends on your luck, because I can tell you the amount of one-ups you're playing. Luck in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a discussion for another day. The fact that you have so many one-ups in your deck, at any time, if you activate grass, mill your Garnet, well, and you're holding a Brilliant Fusion, you just went into a dead draw scenario. So, it is what it is. Shoot in one hand, hope in the other. But it's definitely one of the more powerful of the Tier 2 decks. And then, of course, special shout out to my boy, Cyframe Lord Gamma. Gamma, I don't know what you are doing right now. I'm starting to think you're the best hand trap. Better than Ash Blossom? Ash Blossom's pretty good, but here's the thing though. Gamma is the only hand trap that we have in the thing right now that can massively over-punish your opponent. And when I say that, it's both defensive and offensive. What do you mean? So I can use my Gamma to stop your Ash Blossom if you're using it inappropriately. On my turn, if I'm using it, I can make Omega, take another card out of your hand, and to top things off, I can use it defensively on your turn to create 2 chum blocks for protection. That's pretty goddamn good value if you ask me. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, I'm only playing 1 driver. Yeah, it sucks because you have to play 3 Gamma to ensure you draw it. But the massive value that Gamma is generating this format is really insane. I'm actually really shocked at just how much mileage we're getting out of Gamma as a card. It's super good as a tech card right now, and you're not going to get much better. Now, you can talk about Epsilon. I'm not going to in this. The Trap Negator. That's a discussion for really another day, or any of the other Cyframe cards that are kind of coming up. It was a matter of time until one of the Cyframe cards became insanely good. Alright, now back to ABC. So, earlier I was talking about how the player combined with the deck can kind of get you there. ABC was a perfect example from the YCS in Cali. The player incredibly knew what he was doing, and he made the combo plays and things like that. And I'll be honest with you, just the insane momentum that that deck can generate, ABC are not something that you really want to find yourself fucking with. And it's really annoying playing against the deck just because of how much capitalization the deck can make, the fact that Dragon Buster can repetitively tag out. So much bullshit in one place, and literally decode talk or double Dragon Buster is so stupid. I lost to that 2 weeks ago at Locals. Never again do I want to deal with that. It's so bad. The next one on the list, Robbie, you gonna say any more about ABC? The Destrudo Effect. We did it. It's ABC, like, the deck isn't super consistent. I mean, it is, but, like, the deck's not good enough to like repetitively top unless you're just that guy that just knows everything about the deck. But sometimes luck has to be on your side for the variants. Next up, we're going to talk about True Draco. And when I say True Draco, it's pure True Draco hyphen Invoked. We've seen Invoked be a pure engine for a little while, but True Draco, we've been seeing a little bit more Pure Draco topping throughout regionals, because Masterpiece is just a hell of a card. And it's the same thing we've been saying all format. You know, Masterpiece declares his territory, and you have to try to beat his territory. You know, you need to be better than him. And honestly, in some of these games where it's coming up, you just, tier 1, just sometimes can't beat Masterpiece, you know? If a True Draco player deploys Masterpiece against Trickster, they win that dice roll. He's in such a good game-winning position that you can pretty much just blow your opponent out of the water with Masterpiece alone. Just the advantage that you start generating also depends on your hand, because in most of your good scenario hands, you need card Demise to some degree, and Demise gets Ash Blossomed a lot. Just the pure denial. Next up on the list, Paleo. We've seen Paleo being played throughout Rogue. It tends to miss top cut, but the deck's success is really being pushed around evenly matched. The fact that some of these decks are just outright maining evenly matched to punish your opponents, and the fact that you can just capitalize off your trap cards. You know, Paleo is relying on that Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode, take advantage of the situation, remove the troublesome monsters that the boards are generating. And of course, Paleo in a grind game scenario, Paleo is trying to get you to play their game, and that's the only real way that Paleo is going to get there, is by forcing your strategy to shift gears to theirs. And Paleo versus Trickster is not a fun matchup to watch. It is literally like watching paint dry to some degree. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good. Next up, oh Rob, you're going too fast. There's not a lot to say about the tier 2. Magical Musketeers. Musketeers, they got a few straight regional tops. The deck is very fragile. We don't have triple Upstart Goblin. A lot of people, I've seen some builds that are playing Toon Table, some builds that aren't playing Toon Table. It depends on how you want to play the deck, but the deck is very normal summon dependent. If you break their normal summon, or if you do anything that would fragilely harm the deck, aka hand trap, the deck literally falls apart. The deck is very good for what it does, but I watched Musketeers versus True Draco, and Masterpiece is just a hell of a card. And someone's going to be like, well, that's stupid. Why would they lose to a Masterpiece? Spell and Trap mode. It's honestly the most harmful mode. Most of the monsters don't do dick, except for just activate more shit. And if you're on Spell and Trap card mode, well, you know, you're pretty much immune to everything. Next up on the tier 2 block, I want to talk about Dinosaurs. We saw Temez's build. We saw the build that topped in Prague, but I scratch my head every time Dinosaurs comes out, because it's only because of Ultimate Conductor. I mean, you can literally play whatever engine you want. You know, we had the Volcanic Dinosaur list locals a couple weeks ago. I did in profile. We had the True King version, and then you had the Lost World version that just topped Prague and top 32. It's all about Ultimate Conductor, Ultimate Conductor, Ultimate Conductor. The things that that deck can do are pretty insane still to date, and a lot of people just don't want to deal with it. I mean, when you're getting VFD'd through Trishula, or it's Trishula to the True King guy, you just don't want to play Yugioh anymore. You're just like, nope, my War Pattern Torn Soul is done. And then the last deck I'm going to talk about today is World Chalice. And I bring World Chalice up because my friend's been playing the deck locals, and if the deck is uninterrupted by your opponent not having a hand trap, Gamma Seal with Kyoto Waterfront is the stupidest amount of negation I've seen. One of our friends playing at locals played against him. You guys really saw the match. Gamma Seal played through double evenly matched. And yes, you can activate double evenly matched in the same battle phase. A lot of people have that misconception. it's been that way for a little while. You can apply both of them. So Gamma Seal, being able to negate both, literally 4 cards in hand afterwards, and you've already expended your battle phase. And that 3,000 assets. Gamma Seal is honestly the most scariest of the kaijus. You're only really playing it to give it to your opponent to run over. But the combo potential that that deck does, literally in a perfect world where that deck is uninterrupted by hand traps, it generates so much. Now, I'm going to say one thing here. A lot of you guys want hand traps. You want them gone from the game. You want them restricted to some capacity. You guys have to understand that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has power creeped so far to its current level that hand traps exist as counters to these near unbreakable boards. And I'm sure somebody's going to make the comment and be like, well, you know, they should fix that and not allow that to happen. You know, that's not Yu-Gi-Oh! Evolution happens. The game evolved, hand traps evolved with them. I understand possibly restricting them, but the removal of certain hand traps to allow you to get a turn in the game are very necessary in competitive play. I'm sorry if you're playing Ancient Gears online and your fucking gearbox gets fucking ash blossomed. I'm sorry, it happens. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, you should be putting in your dual tag no hand traps, if that's the case. You know, they already get no synchro, no Xyz, no link monsters in the tags, so may as well just fucking throw in no hand traps while we're at it. A lot of people need to understand that hand traps were a very good thing that happened to the game. I'm very, very hand trap positive. I just think that possibly lowering the number of Ash Blossom to 2, much like how Maxi's limitation in the OCG helped them greatly. Maxi was a very unfair card because Maxi generates 8 to 9 cards in some games. Or Maxi reads, your opponent stops special summoning, you get a turn. The thing is, honestly, 1-for-1s like negating a Pot of Desires with Ash Blossom are not necessarily bad things, but that's my 2 cents. I'm sure somebody will argue with me, but, you know, that's what constructive criticism is for, honestly. That's all I really got for you guys, though, for this discussion. Extreme Forces comes out in, what, late January, early February? We get the Pegasus Duels pack soon. January's ban list, Reincarnation to 1, please. Resort to 1 so we can kill Spyrals. That's all we really need to do. I'm looking forward to playing my Dark Magician deck. Woohoo. Maybe we'll play some Garbage Assault mode with my Memphis, but we'll see how things go. So guys, leave a comment down below for anything I might have missed. Feel free to share it with us. Give me your opinions on my Tier 1, my Tier 2, my Tier 1.5. Fucking tell me tiers are irrelevant. They don't exist in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And every deck has a chance to top, because it's not true. Maybe to a little bit of degree, but Spyral's still best deck. What a format. What a time to be alive. At least there's 9 decks we're talking about instead of 2. So, alright guys, remember, evenly matched is a hell of a drug. Later guys. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.